Hi, welcome back to Missing Chemistry. This is going to be a net ionic equation problem, but in this problem we kind of like a word equation. We have iron 3 sulfate plus barium nitrate yields barium sulfate plus iron 3 nitrate. Alright, now when we look at this particular problem, we're going to have to first convert it into a formula problem. Now, when we convert into a formula problem, we're going to have to be using our elements and our polyatomic ions, obviously in this case, and we need to know our oxidation numbers. Some other things we kind of need to know is our solubility rules too, because that's going to help us to understand the states of each of these compounds. Remember that a solid is denoted by an S, like that, in brackets, a liquid, like this, the L, a gas is like this with the G, and of course my hardest one to make is the AQ, because they don't make that G looking too good, but anyway, in the brackets. So now, let's go ahead and do our skeleton. So we get Fe for iron, and it says iron 3, so we know that's Fe plus 3. Sulfate is SO4, it has a -2 charge. Oh, that doesn't look quite right. So we'd have to do the old crisscross. Remember the crisscross method? We're going to put a 2 here, and then we're going to bracket the sulfate ion and put a 3 there. Plus barium nitrate. So Ba, barium's and nitrate is NO3. Now a nitrate ion has a -1 charge from our polyatomic ions that we were supposed to have already learned, and our barium has a +2 charge. Oh, we have to crisscross that to make the charges equal. There you go. Remember that the crisscross method is you take that and you go like that with your oxidation numbers. Like that's 3 and 2. You know, and this one would be, of course, 2 and 1. But you don't write the ones down. I just kind of want to show you that to you. So let me go ahead and get rid of that real quickly because we don't want to junk up the board here. It's going to take quite a bit of doing here on this problem. Okay. All right. Anyway. So let's go ahead and put our -1 back in there and fix that B there. Okay. So now, barium sulfate. So that's BaSO4. Sulfate's a -2 charge, barium's +2 charge. So that looks good. Plus iron 3 nitrate. And again, you're going to have to do the old crisscross method. So you're going to put a bracket here, and this 3 right here is going to come down to here. Okay, so now we got to go back and balance the equation. So we're going to put a 3 here, a 3 there, and of course we're going to put a 2 there. So that equation is now balanced. But what about these guys? All right, so we have to look at something called the solubility rules. So sulfates. So sulfates, it says under sulfates, most sulfate salts are soluble. Important exceptions to this rule are barium sulfate, lead sulfate, silver sulfate, and strontium sulfate. This is iron sulfate, so it's none of those 4 exceptions. So it's aqueous. And then look at this. It says for the nitrates here. Salts containing nitrate ions are generally soluble. So what that means more or less is that it is soluble. So it's also AQ. Now we go back to the sulfate here. Look at this. That's barium sulfate. And it says most sulfates are soluble with the exceptions including barium sulfate. Well, wait a minute, that's barium sulfate right there. So that's not going to be soluble, so you're going to put a solid there. And then, oh, look at the last one, nitrates. We said all nitrates basically are soluble, right? So we're going to put an AQ there. So now that's done. That's really, really important. Now we come to our complete ionic equation. I call it the CIE. So we're going to write this as 2Fe plus 3 AQ. That 2 goes out in front of there. Okay, plus 3 SO, let's see here, let's undo that there for a second. I didn't do my S right, so kind of like, you know. This would be 3SO4 minus 2, and that's also AQ. plus 3Ba plus 2AQ plus 6NO3 minus 1AQ. Okay, where'd the 6 come from? The 6 came from 2 times 3, right? That'll give me 6. So I just want you to see that there before I get rid of that. There you go. All right, yields. 3Ba plus 2 SO4 minus 2 solids. Hey, wait a minute. Why didn't we break that apart? Because solids you don't break apart. You don't break those apart at all. Okay, so now we're going to get 2Fe plus 3AQ plus 6NO3 minus 1AQ. All right. So now let's go ahead and change the color here because it just makes this look a little bit easier to do. How about green? Green sounds good to me. Okay, look at the iron. The iron on this side and the iron on this side haven't changed. So they're a spectator ion. So we're going to kind of scratch those guys out there. They're spectators. Our sulfates went from AQ to solid, so that one did change. Our bariums went from AQ to solid, so that changed. Our nitrates, nah, they're both AQs on both sides, so they're spectators. Now, let's change color back here. We're ready to write what we call our net ionic equations. All right, so we're going to go NIE, the net ionic equation. So this is going to be 3SO4 minus 2AQ plus 3Ba plus 2AQ yields 3Ba SO4 solid. And that's it. So that's it for this lesson. You guys be snarly. And we'll see you back here at Moosine Chemistry.